Flood warnings are likely to remain in effect this week from Wisconsin and Minnesota to Missouri as more heavy rain is forecast. There's already been historic flooding, inundating parts of Nebraska, bringing down a bridge in South Dakota. The lasting image of the week is from Minnesota. Water surging around the west side of the 114-year-old Rapidan Dam on the Blue Earth River, carrying away a home on a bank just downstream. Across the country, new weather extremes are testing aging dams. According to the federal government's most recent climate assessment, the number of extreme precipitation days in the Midwest has gone up 45% since the 1950s. Del Shannon is the former president of the United States Society on Dams. It's an organization of professionals who design, build, and operate dams, and they focus on dam safety. Del, are the dams that exist now, were they built and designed to withstand the sort of extreme weather we're seeing now?
Well, John, the average age of a dam in the U.S., and there are 92,000 dams in the U.S., is 60 years old. And so the majority of these dams were designed to a standard 60 years or older. And often that is insufficient to withstand many of the floods that we're now starting to see.
Can dams somehow be retrofitted to bring them up to standard?
Yes, of course. It's a tall task at times because of the immense size of these structures, but absolutely, and they should be, because water is an irreplaceable resource that we have. There's no plan B for anything other than water. So these structures must be upgraded if we want to maintain them as assets in our water portfolio.
As I understand it, the Rapidan Dam was damaged by flooding in 2019 and 2020, and since then there's been a debate over whether to repair it or remove it. Is enough being done to monitor the state of dams across the country?
You know, it's a complex problem, John. Each state is responsible for the oversight and the regulation and the inspection of dams, with the exception of the federal government dams. So the federal government is responsible for overseeing their dams. So we have 50 individual entities charged with overseeing and maintaining them. And again, with 92,000 dams in our portfolio, it can be an overwhelming problem, and often is.
There are maintenance schedules and replacement schedules for highways and bridges. Are there things, do we know enough about the life cycle of dams?
That's an excellent question, John. We're just starting to delve into that. We're starting some research later on this year, federally funded research. But the answer to your question is no. We have never gone through a full replacement cycle of our dams, and we don't have a good understanding of the life cycle. And that's a much needed area of research and investigation.
You know, whenever politicians talk about the need to fix the infrastructure, they talk about bridges, they talk about sewer systems, because these are things that people see and deal with every day. Is enough attention being paid to dams, do you think?
Well, in my opinion, no. I'm quite passionate about the topic, but there are these structures that just silently go about their business day in and day out without a lot of people thinking about them. But again, as I said earlier, there is no plan B for water. And we're actually, from a per capita standpoint, we're declining. We haven't built new reservoirs. Our population is growing. The age of these structures is increasing, and the reservoirs are infilling with sediment. All that adds up to a declining per capita storage volume of our reservoirs, both in the US and throughout the world.
Is there money in the infrastructure bill for dams, and is it enough?
There is money in there. It's a several billion. That's a fantastic first step, and I don't want to speak ill of that. It's wonderful. It is a down payment on additional funding that is needed, and we need to continue to maintain these structures. The current estimate of upgrading our existing dams is in the 150 to 160 billion dollar range. So it is a significant lift that we'll need.
Overall, what needs to be done, do you think, to make dams safe, and what ought to be done?
So we need more resources, both in funding and in people. We need to establish a greater workforce focused on specifically on these structures. That includes increasing funding at the state level and at the federal level as well. So all of these things need to be understood and invested in, both people and the funding to upgrade these structures.
It seems like we hear more frequently these days about dam failures or overtopping. Is that the fact, or is it just that once one happens, we pay attention to the others?
Well, it's actually a complex problem. When dams were built in the heyday after World War II, our understanding of hydrology and design was 60 years old, and so now as we've advanced, we have a better understanding of what these structures, the loading that they need to take, the flood designs that they're designed to withstand, and so that's improved. The other thing that's gone on is we've had an increase in population. So once where we had very rural dams that were designed for smaller floods, now we have large populations downstream of them, and larger floods are happening, and they're overwhelming these dams. Lastly, we've had a shifting climate, and a warmer atmosphere can hold more water. And we're just starting to delve into this and understand it, but we believe the size of the floods will continue to increase as our atmosphere temperature also increases.
Del Shannon, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.